Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, it has long been talked about and now it's official. David O'Byrne will tomorrow stand for the Labor leadership. The member for Franklin says he's the man to end Labor's infighting, but what is to be confirmed is if he'll face any opposition.
Settling in to watch his daughter's football match, David O'Byrne's looking to kick goals for Labor.
I will be putting up my hand for leadership of the Tasmanian Parliamentary Labor Party.
It follows a public endorsement from Rebecca White, who announced she won't recontest the leadership. His focus? Bringing Labor together.
We need to be a party that's united and that is focused on the issues that the Tasmanian community want us to focus on.
The third termer is the only person so far to state their leadership intentions, with a party meeting to be held tomorrow. He says if successful, his sister Michelle won't recontest her position as deputy, with Anita Dow to put her hand up. Shane Broad wouldn't comment today, but on Friday said he was considering his options for the top role.
There is no hiding some of the challenges that our party face. All parties face from time to time divisions and disagreements about the way forward.
Concerns remain within the party about O'Byrne's strong connections to unions, who some blame for the factional warfare that dogged the recent state election campaign. The Liberals are already looking to fan those flames.
The problem here is that David O'Byrne is a fully owned and operated franchise of the unions.
Well, I'll be owned and operated by the people of Tasmania. I'm not beholden to any one person.
Meanwhile, the Liberal Party is still facing questions about Adam Brooks. The Greens have referred the saga to the Integrity Commission, asking who knew what and when. Cassie O'Connor says Tasmanian voters did not have the full picture on election day. They still don't today.
We take people at face value, and we've taken, and the Premier took Adam Brooks at his word and at face value that he was fit for office.
We've got a government that has essentially been elected on a lie. The manipulation of the Braddon result and the candidature is of great concern to the Tasmanian community.
Brooks may not be taking his seat, but his controversial candidacy is an issue that the opposition is continuing to blow the whistle on. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian roads saw the highest death rate in the nation last year, with 36 lives lost. The devastating trend is in the spotlight this week, with authorities pleading with drivers to heed the warnings.
Signing a pledge to stay safe on our roads.
Over to you, Michael. Thank you.
For Road Safety Week 2021.
There's 36,000 people who have already taken the pledge across Australia. Let's encourage Tasmanians, your family, your friends, to join.
Driver safety is on the radar.
Road safety is a serious issue for all Tasmanians every day, and it is important to shine a spotlight on it.
It's not preachy, it's not nanny government, it's our joint responsibility to each other. We owe it to each other to be safe on the roads.
Already, 10 people have died on Tasmanian roads this year, with more than 100 seriously injured. Those troubling figures come off the back of 36 deaths last year, the worst rate in the nation.
This is tragic, not only for the statistics, but beyond that. Every one of these is a family that's been torn apart.
Police say motorcyclists have been overrepresented in recent fatals.
Again, it's often behaviour related, a decision made by a rider, often a decision made by a car driver that doesn't take into account for the presence of a motorcycle on the road.
The message to drivers:
get there safely. Wherever you're going, get there safely. Safety has to be at the forefront of your mind before you turn the key on, before you pull out of the driveway, before you start your journey.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The early morning chill didn't stop thousands of Tasmanians pounding the pavement through Hobart in Australia's second oldest fun run. The City 2 Casino bringing runners of all ages and abilities back together after being cancelled last year due to COVID-19.
Racing against each other alongside their parents. These fledgling runners competing in the 2.7 kilometre family event for the 48th annual City to Casino. 11-year-old Violet Owen crossing the finish line first.
Really really good. I was hoping to win. I was really happy with my performance and yeah, it just felt like a really good run.
Competitors in the 7-kilometre trek shortly following. 15-year-old Rachel Horsham smashing the race in a tight finish.
Oh, it's amazing. We were neck and neck all the way. Thought I left a bit early, but I got her back when she took off and just had a little bit left to keep going.
The big guns then racing through. After a rocky start, Launceston local David Thomas managing to win the main 11-kilometre stretch for a second time.
It took me about 7k to catch them up. They probably got a 100-metre lead, and at each hill I slowly caught them up.
Ruby Smee taking out the women's title shortly after.
It was tougher than I thought. I've always done the 7k, so first time in the 11. The hills were, definitely a pinch, but it was a really good day. Yeah.
The much-loved fun run returning after a break last year due to the pandemic, attracting 2,500 local participants of all fitness abilities.
It's all for locals, so we get people all shapes and sizes and all age categories, you know, right from 5 or 6 years old through to about 80 years old. So it's a real community family event.
The full slog starting in Glenorchy, then winding through Hobart, finishing at Rest Point Casino. A tough race, certainly putting runners through their paces.
It's a fast start, starts all uphill, then downhill's no rest, open stride, smashing it down there, trying to recover, and then you go up again, and Sandy Bay Road is just hold on.
Ruby Kameen, 7 Tasmania News.
A graphic new ad campaign from Quit Tasmania will hit our TV screens tonight in the latest bid to encourage people to give up smoking. It features vision of a voice box being removed in surgery, with a person who's gone through the procedure pleading with locals to heed the message. And a warning, some viewers may find the vision confronting.
Powerful, real and carrying a message. Surgeons work to remove a patient's larynx in a bid to save their life. The reason? Years of smoking.
This doesn't have to be you. Stop smoking now.
The larynx is really important for speaking, but it really plays an important role in breathing and swallowing.
The confronting vision will beam onto our screens from tonight. Quit Tasmania launching a new 4-week campaign, encouraging smokers to stop.
We know that graphic, hard-hitting campaigns have the most impact in terms of encouraging people to quit smoking and preventing young people from taking it up.
Wayne Walker knows all too well the effect it can have. Taking up smoking for 25 years after being drafted during the Vietnam War, he had his voice box surgically removed in 2013. The impact, life-changing.
There's a lot of things I can't do now that I used to do. Swimming was one. I grew up around the water. I used to sail. I can still sail now, but if I fall in the water, I drown.
Tasmania has the second highest smoking rate in the nation. But in a recent survey, many were unaware of the links between smoking and mouth and throat cancers.
Only about 35% identified mouth and throat cancers as a health risk from smoking.
Wayne is hoping many will avoid the mistakes he made.
Just give it up. Look, don't start. It's a one-way trip. It's not good for you in any shape or form.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
The history of Tasmania's LGBTIQA+ community has been depicted through creative street art outside TMAG. The traffic signal box covered with pictures of pivotal moments from the past, including the 1988 Salamanca arrests, while recognising the oldest known surviving photo of a same-sex couple in Australia taken near Hobart in the 1890s.
We're here and, you know, our stories are important as well. If you're going to tell Tasmania's history, you have to tell all of it, so you have to tell this part.
It just shows us how much attitudes have changed in Hobart, in the city, and tells us the stories of that change and that process that's happened. And it shows that there's always progress happening.
The art also commemorating tomorrow's International Day against homophobia, biphobia, transphobia and intersexism. To the NPL now, and South Hobart and Glenorchy have recorded big wins to cement their place at the top of the table. South came from behind to defeat Olympia, while the Knights put 5 past the lowly Launceston City.
South are flying this year, but they found themselves in an unusual position just 30 seconds into the match against Olympia.
It's gone in, first minute goal for the Olympia Warriors.
They levelled minutes later, Lancaster flicking it home from a well-taken corner. The Reds turning the screws on the Warriors after half-time, scoring another 3 goals.
Towards like a Seljack, who fires home to make it 3 for South Hobart.
The 4-1 result keeping them in first place. At KG5, second place Glenorchy hosted Launceston City. The Knights opening their account in the 20th minute via the boot of their opponents. It was one-way traffic as the Knights scored a big win. City's dirty night summed up by the 5th goal, Nicholas Mearn scoring his 2nd after a mistake at the back. At Valley Road, Devonport and Kingborough needed to win to boost their title chances. After a tense first half, Devonport broke the deadlock in style through Edward Bidwell. The win sealed for the Strikers after winning a penalty. The referee showing no hesitation in giving Kingborough's Anne Bugante an early shower for the challenge. The spot kick was well saved, but the home side scored on the follow-up, securing a vital 3 points. And in Launceston, Riverside were 2-0 up against Clarence inside the first 15 minutes as they searched for their first points of the season. The Zebras fighting back to level the scores midway through the second half, securing a draw away from home. Clarence, however, will be missing Matthew Pace for a spell after he was sent off for a second bookable offence. John Hunt, 7 Tasmanian News.
In the NBL 1, Keely Froling has put on a display for the ages as the Launceston Tornadoes defeated Diamond Valley. Froling scored a whopping 52 points for the Tornadoes, also securing a massive 26 rebounds in an MVP display.
She's got it now. That's it. 50 points.
The Tornadoes eventually winning 103-74. Meanwhile, Northwest Thunder defeated the Eagles 100-78. Diamond Valley, however, produced the highlight of the night.
20 seconds left. Oh! Joel Capitola!
The Thunder are in first place on the ladder. Alex Peroni has achieved his first Indy Lights podium finish at the Indianapolis Raceway. Qualifying in 4th place for the second race of the weekend, he coolly took advantage of race 1 winner Linus Lundqvist's lock-up to look into 3rd.
Big lock-up from Lundqvist.
Yeah, oh no, Lundqvist goes off course. He was in 3rd. Oh, goodness.
The Tasmanian coming home for the podium place and moving into 5th place in the overall standings.
Good evening, welcome back. 16 degrees today in Hobart. That was the state's top temperature. 15 for Launceston, 14 in Burnie with 15 also in Devonport. Around Tasmania, 15 at Cressy, Smithton, Fingal, St Helens and Campania. 14 for Lowhead, Scottsdale, Wynyard and on Flinders Island. 13 degrees for Grove with 12 at Sheffield and Strawn. The satellite shows extensive cloud about the west, partly cloudy for the remainder. Further out and much of the mainland free of cloud, just some low cloud over southern and southwestern areas. A slow moving cold front and associated low visible west of WA. Tomorrow a cold front sweeps up the New South Wales coast while the high moves towards Adelaide and dominates the mainland weather. West to southwesterly winds 20 to 30 knots. 15 to 25 about the west, north and northeast early on, with seas mostly 2 to 3 metres higher through the west and the south. There is a strong wind warning current tomorrow for most coastal waters and a bushwalkers weather alert for snow to 700 metres about the western and central plateaus. Onto the forecast, 14 degrees in Hobart, Dover showers and 12 degrees at Ouse, 14 for Launceston and Devonport, 12 degrees at Scottsdale, 13 in Burnie and Strawn, 14 the top for Stanley, with 14 and a sunny day in St Helens, 13 for Swansea, 12 an early fog for Ross. Light showers about the west and the far south on Tuesday. A frosty start for most areas, but a fine day expected. Showers in the west and the far south continue on Wednesday, extending to parts of the north, but otherwise pretty fine, with showers easing and contracting to the west and the far south on Thursday. Around Australia tomorrow, 27 degrees in Perth, 17 the top for Adelaide, 16 in showers in Melbourne, 14 for Canberra, 20 and sunny in Sydney with 23 degrees for Brisbane. And it's 9 degrees in Hobart, a few showers, Launceston 10 and 9 degrees in Devonport. That is all for the weekend in Weatherloo. Have a great week.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Sam. And that's all your news for this Sunday evening. Thanks so much for joining us. Kim and the team will be with you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Good night.